What's going on, knuckleheads? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Get It Right Saturday night. I hope you guys have had a fantastic evening so far. This is our David Benavidez versus Ronald Ellis post-fight show. We're also going to be talking about Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards. Just a very sad, very unfortunate ending to that fight. Real shame what happened to Edwards versus Muhammad there. Before I continue and we start talking about these fights though, knuckleheads, I want to ask you guys, be sure to follow our official sponsor, Nueva Real Estate, for all your California real estate needs. You can follow them on Instagram at Nueva Real Estate or in the link in the description for all your California real estate needs. That being said, man, my goodness, you guys. My goodness. Let's start with boxing. David Benavidez. Before this fight, I said that this guy, Ellis, was being brought in as fodder. He was being brought in as food, and this is something I preach about on this channel all the time, And I'm hoping combat sports fans eventually catch on to this, man, because boxing is, seems especially made for the casuals. Oh, yeah, and before I continue, man, Rapstar Boxing Knowledge said it. Rest in peace, Marvin Hagler. I can't believe Marvin Hagler passed away today. So rest in peace to Marvin Hagler. Our condolences to him and his family. One of the greatest to ever do it, Marvin Hagler. So since we're on the topic of boxing, again, David Benavidez, this is a make him look good fight, and I called this Canelo versus Yildirim light or diet Canelo versus Yildirim, because I said this guy has no chance. It's similar to Canelo and Yildirim because it involves the WBC. This is basically a fight to determine who's going to be the mandatory for Canelo's WBC super middleweight title. Much love to you, Rapstar Boxing. Much respect to London from California, brother. Much love to you guys. I love the boxing culture in your country. So this was I was calling it Canelo versus Yildirim light or diet Canelo versus Yildirim. I mean, that's what this was. This was a guy brought in to make David Benavidez look fantastic, and that is exactly what he did. Now, I will say he put up more of a fight than I thought he would. He was very brave, very durable, this guy Ellis. I mean, incredibly durable. But that's a good thing and that's a bad thing because you had David Benavidez, one of the most terrifying punchers, man, pound for pound. He's got to be one of the scariest punchers, pound for pound. Just absolutely teeing off on this guy. I mean, Ellis had his moments in the fight where, he was landing some good punches, throwing back, landing some good jabs, moving around, doing some good boxing. But this was an absolute beating of the highest degree. I mean, this guy was like, he reminded me of that piece of meat hanging in the freezer in those Rocky movies. I mean, he was just getting teed off on. And it was, at about the fifth or sixth round for me, it became more entertaining to see how much damage, and look, I don't want to see the guy get harmed, but I'm just speaking on the entertainment factor, right? It became more entertaining for me to see how many devastating shots could be landed and how many devastating shots could be absorbed by a human being than the actual fight itself, because it was not competitive. I mean, the guy may have won the first round because it was a feeling out round, and after that, Benavidez just completely took over. And he did have some success again in spots in the beginning of the fight. But Benavidez took over. But for me, again, it's disturbing, and I'm trying to communicate to you guys why this is disturbing. at fifth or sixth round, it became more interesting to me the amount of punishment being inflicted and absorbed versus the competitiveness of the fight, because the latter had disappeared and we were left with the former. How many shots can this human being take without falling to the ground? And it was a thing, it was a thing of I don't want to say it's a thing of beauty, but it was impressive. The amount of punishment that this poor kid Ellis took before the referee stepped in the 11th round and waved it off for David Benavidez. There was one sequence in particular. Again, I want to say it was maybe in the 6th round, maybe afterwards. Maybe in the 6th round, maybe afterwards, where the guy landed, right? David Benavidez landed at the very least, 3 consecutive uppercuts just in a row, just full blast, just blasting this guy with uppercuts, and followed it up with a monster hook. We were seeing 10-hit combos, 6-hit combos, 5-hit combos. This was like a video game watching this thing. It was crazy. So yeah, I didn't think, it was sad to watch. I didn't think this guy belonged in the ring with Benavidez. And he showed that tonight despite the bravery. Look, some people are going to rest on the bravery and they're going to say, man, that's enough to show that this guy belonged. That's not enough to show the guy belonged. Showing how much punishment you can take is not enough to show that you belong in the boxing ring with the best guys at 168 pounds. So I hope he goes back, gets some easier fights, maybe guys on his level, learns from this, potentially advances. But man, this was a vicious beating that this kid Ellis took, and he's definitely tough. I hope it doesn't affect him for the rest of his career. It was horrible to watch, but also entertaining, as absurd and morbid as that sounds. That being said, that's pretty much it for boxing. We also had Terrell Gausha win, so big shout out to Gausha. As you guys know, he's coached by Manny Robles, good friend of the show. We've had Manny on here. We've even had Terrell Gausha on here. So congrats to him. Won by second round TKO, I believe. And then the UFC card was great. I thought the UFC card was great, but the main event was anticlimactic, to say the least. Muhammad came out, Edwards came out. They were kind of feeling each other out in the first round. Started to pick up a little bit. I thought the biggest strike of the fight, Leon Edwards landed a big head kick. It sliced Muhammad's head, like kind of over here. He was bleeding. But nothing tremendous. He buzzed him, but Muhammad got back into it. They were still kind of, feeling each other out. The second round starts. The action's starting to pick up a little bit. And then they come at each other. It looks like Edwards goes to, throw a kick. And as he's throwing the kick, he reaches his hand out. As he's doing that, Muhammad is approaching him to throw his own strike. And Edwards' finger goes right into Muhammad's eye and just mangles it, man. I'm talking about Stipe versus DC. Excuse me. Stipe versus DC 3, like I'm getting mangled. So the referee, basically in the second round comes in, stops the fight. It's ruled a no contest. And, after 600 days outside of the octagon, Leon Edwards ends up with a no contest in the second round. Bilal Muhammad, who is really surging, also ends up with a no contest. Kind of doesn't allow for any sort of evolution or development in the division. And an unfortunate ending. A really unfortunate ending to, what was otherwise a really good card. And what I was hoping was going to be a good main event that didn't really pan out. So, Knuckleheads, that's pretty much all I got for you today. It's kind of Guess it's kind of a slow day here. Shout out to Rap Star Boxing, Dr. Joseph. Appreciate you being here. Robert Paez. Appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, not much going on. Besides that, I mean, I guess these fights aren't so happening that we got a ton of people in here like we usually do. But yeah, I mean, I like these, I like some of these smaller cards, man, where these hungry guys get the opportunity to come out and show out for their people. But sad situation. Sad situation for Bilal Muhammad and for Leon Edwards. And David Benavidez, pretty much killed somebody today. Almost. So there you have it, Knuckleheads. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. Also, click the join button to join the channel. Just $5 a month. That's 16 cents a day. You help us build the channel and the promotion. Shahriar Siddiqui says, rules around eye pokes, etc. should be firmed up. I agree. Because, it's confusing what's going on with the eye pokes, and it's confusing what's going on, with when is it a no contest, when is it not. I mean, I guess intent comes into play, but even intent is a little bit subjective. I thought they rushed to judgment again against Peter Yan in the Aljamain Sterling fight. I don't think he meant to do what he did, but who am I to tell? Anyway, Knuckleheads, that's all I've got for today. Be sure to join us every day, 7 p.m.